Hello and welcome to another Geektastic episode. This is a pretty funny story here. Basically, the owner of this television, it's a 52-inch Sony Bravia LCD, the daughter hung a plant over this TV, and then what do you do with plants? Well, you water plants, and you can put the rest together from there. The last time they had it on, apparently it was just a fuzz of pastel colors, and I told them over the phone to unplug it immediately for safety reasons and to maybe spare the life of this TV. So I'm not even going to plug it in to test it. I'm just going to open the back up. We're going to look for water damage and dry anything that's going to be remaining wet. So let's crack it open and see what we can find in this beast. Cool. Okay, so I left the top two screws in. I got rid of all the other ones, so we're going to take these off and pull off the back. I thought I'd save this part for you, the viewer. And then we can take a look at the water damage in this thing and see how bad it really is. Hopefully it wasn't plugged in too long, because corrosion can set in, components can burn out. Well, obviously with the water issue. Looks like our panel for the controls is part of the outer shell. So I'm going to climb up here and unplug it. It's part of that peeking method. You can see how this comes out. It should just slide back. There it is. Okay. Just got to push that forward. As I was taking this back off, I'll show you in a minute. The control panel wanted to come with, because it's stuck in place. Wow, okay, the speakers came out too. So these just rest right up here. I know you probably can't see this, but they're not held in there very well. Just flip up and pop in, and they'll fall right out with that back cover. I normally lay these down flat, but not for this one. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in for a closer look. Okay, here's the basic rundown on this TV now that we have the back off. We have the tuner board here that also controls the signals going out to the T-Con board, which is under that shield, the timing control board, which drives the LCD panel. Over here we have the inverter power supply, the power inverter that powers the incandescent bulbs that run down the side of this TV. And you have the main power supply board here. And there's the other driver for the other inverter board that drives the bulbs on the side and the power supply. So with this symptom, she's saying that it gives her a pastel just fuzz on the screen. It would probably be damage to this T-Con board or somewhere in the this tuner, or the main board, you could call it too. So we're going to take a look at the main board and the T-con and see if we can find water damage. You know, just remove the cables and, you know, dry them, maybe with assistance from a heat gun and some paper towel, and we'll look for evidence of damage. I'll show you more in a little bit. Kazammy zam zing! So here's the T-con board pulled out of its shielding. And that big gray block right there, that is a heatsink. It's a spongy heatsink. There's one on this IC as well, and those just press against the back of this shielding to dissipate heat. But let's look at some of these connections here. Everything looks really dry on this. I already gave it a once over to see if I could find any water damage. I couldn't see anything really concerning here. Everything looks really clean. I don't see any water staining on this. But I will put this back in, and then I'll check the main board out here for water damage as well. And, you know, I'll probably dust it a little bit. If I don't find anything, I'll just put this back together and try to power it on to see if it's okay or not. See you in a couple seconds. Hi, so I discovered when I unplugged the cable for this main board, the top one that connects to the T-con board, it sounded really crusty like. I did see some bits of leaf matter in here that I brushed off, and I don't know if you can see in there, but a couple of the pins look a little crusty. So I'm just going to go in with like a toothbrush with a little bit of rubbing alcohol on there and scrub the inside of that. And I'll also clean that connector as well. I'll dry it with a heat gun on low heat for a few minutes, being very cautious on temperature and, you know, duration of drying time. And then I'll put this main board back in place, and we will fire up the TV and see if it gives that pastel static that the owner was talking about. Hopefully not, but let's get into it. Alright. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to brush the teeth on the T-con connector from this main board. What we're going to do is take some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. I have my trusty toothbrush here that I use for cleaning electronics with. I'm just going to tip it, wet the toothbrush, put the cap back on my alcohol. I'm just going to give this a couple taps to get rid of the excess rubbing alcohol, because we don't need tons of it, just a little bit, enough to make it damp and for it to clean properly. So I'm going to get up here, see if we can focus in on this monstrosity. Then I'm just going to take the old trusty toothbrush and do one of these thumpers. Again, we're being gentle. We're just wanting to remove any light corrosion that we can. I know, pretty exciting. But we do what we must do. It's going to be hard to see, but that's that part. Oh, there we go. It looks better than it did. I don't know if you could see it from the last clip, but It was browner than that. And I think that was probably, you know, a loose connection causing that pastel pink noise on the screen. So I have my heat gun here that I will plug in. And putting this on the low setting, I will just make a couple passes on this to dry it off. I'll go over the whole thing just in case there are parts underneath that I can't see that may be still damp from when they spilled water on it, or poured water in it, I should say. Just giving it the once over. I hope that this is all that was wrong with this thing. Inspection was pretty good. Like I said, I can only see the corrosion on those pins. I'll say that's probably good. I'm going to do the same thing to the cable that plugs into it. So again, we're just going to brush the teeth here. Making sure our bristles go into the connector. These things are pretty delicate, so just be gentle. Make sure you have a good contact with the toothbrush in the cleaning solution. And then when we're done, we're going to dry it again with the heat gun on the low setting. It's probably fine. Dry it with the this little fella. These plastic pieces, doesn't take much heat to melt them, so just go easy and quick. And use your best judgment on when you think it's dry. A little visual inspection. I think it's quite dry. I'm going to put this board back on, and then we will test the TV out. I'll cut and we'll get back to that. Okay, so I put the back on this thing because the speakers were like loose and the top control panel. So I just thought I'd put the back on with a couple screws just to hold it in place, just so nothing would fall out when I went to turn it around and we go to test this thing. So I've got this ready, I plugged it in the back. We'll plug it into the outlet. And these TVs usually, you'll hear a relay switch when we plug it in. So just take a listen. Hear that click? That's good. That's our relay switch for the standby power. Now, we'll turn this on and maybe we'll get something. I don't see anything on the screen. Well, that's not good. Alright, we'll keep investigating and see what else we can find. Cool. Okay, so we had no signal on this screen the last time we tested it. I don't know if you noticed, but the backlight did come on. It illuminated slightly. And funny thing happened. I never reconnected the signal cable to the T-Con board. So now it looks like we have a signal in the TV now. I'll try to change inputs, maybe do some volume stuff. I can change channels, as you can see. So yeah, I would say don't water your television. Don't hang plants above your television and water them. Hopefully this stays the way it is now. I mean, I did a very thorough inspection, so it looked good to me. I will call this a successful repair, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and follow me on the Facebooks and the Twitters. Until next time, see ya!